On the table here, I have the Stedemon Shy. This is a knife actually out of China from the Stedemon Knife Company, which has been making some high quality knives recently. I'm not very familiar with the company overall, but I know that recently they've come out with some exclusives through Blade HQ, and this one is actually from KnifeCenter. So you can get this from KnifeCenter. It's about $240 for the aluminum handled version. I believe they have a titanium one that's for, I believe it's over $400. But you'll see why this is about $240. Now, what makes this unique is that this is an aluminum handled knife, but this is a single piece of aluminum. It's a frame lock. And a very similar knife to that would be Lion Steel's version that's been out for a while, the SR2 and SR1A. This is the SR2A, it's a smaller version. It's also a single piece aluminum frame lock. And I believe that they were probably inspired by that kind of design to do a single piece aluminum frame lock. So just like the Lion Steel, if you look, it's all one piece. Took one piece of aluminum, milled it all out, anodized it, and put the knife together. And the locking bar is also part of the frame. Thus the frame lock. Alright. So, yeah, when you look over the knife, get the lock to disengage. There. It's one solid piece of aluminum. I mean, I've inspected this a few times and I can't find a line where they've somehow fused this together. It is one piece of aluminum. So yeah, you have S35 VN steel, so good quality steel. You got nice milling on the aluminum. You got, it's kind of like maybe like a sunburst pattern. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but yeah, nice milling on the handle. Yeah, you have a 3.75 inch blade, so single piece, and it comes in about 4.2 ounces, so it's not the lightest knife in the world, but considering the length of the blade, the length of the handle, it's actually pretty reasonable. So this actually comes in different colors. There's a purple, I believe silver, black, and the blue one. Yeah, I believe it's 4 colors for the aluminum handled version. Now, when you compare it to the Lion Steel SR series, you still have that milling there, and you also both have a way to prevent hyperextension of the lock bar. This actually locks down. It's like called a roto lock. This isn't locked down, but you can will prevent the lock bar from overextending. Now, because you're doing aluminum handle, aluminum lock, you have to put some kind of steel. So they have a stainless steel lock insert there, which is replaceable because there's 2 screws that you can remove that lock insert. Now out of box, it's solid. There's no play in here. It's solid. The pivot point is just a simple pivot with it's got a flat head adjustment on both sides. So if you needed to, you don't need a Torx wrench to readjust this. Now the rest of the knife with the screws around here, it looks like Torx, and so you wouldn't need a Torx for that. But to adjust the pivot, you would only need a flat head, so you don't need to carry around your Torx bits to adjust the pivot. Now it's got a single position pocket clip, which is only on tip up right side, so it's kind of advantage for someone like me who's a lefty. Narrow design, that's going to be kind of similar to design of maybe a Quaken, where it's very narrow. Quaken is also, can't change the pocket clip around, but this is a flipper, a little different price range. We'll get into that a little later. So you have the overextension part there, it is deployed by a thumb plate, which for a lefty is a little bit more difficult because there is not as much of a cutout to get to the thumb plate on the locking side of the knife. There's more of a cutout on the other side. Now these come in two different versions. Besides the 4 handle colors, they become in 2 different versions. One is the flat ground right here, and the other one is the hollow ground. They both have that kind of tanto tip at the front, and the only difference is the grind of the blade. So that's a flat ground. The hollow ground looks pretty similar, it just looks like a hollow ground blade. If you want to see the difference, it's on KnifeCenter's page. So, considering all that you're getting, high quality steel, great precision to detail, nice anodizing. I don't see this wearing off very easily. It seems like it's very durable anodizing. And when you look at the pocket clip, now even though it's only single position, I believe it's titanium, I'm not entirely sure, but it is actually not very thin, and it's actually sculpted. It's got some cutout on the side. It's very well done, and that takes extra time, that takes extra work, and that's where you're saying that this is $240 from China. Well, the amount of effort that was put into it would probably be equivalent to a lot more money if it was a USA made blade. Not entirely sure how much more it would be, but you know, that's what you get. Deployment, it's pretty quick. When you get a good flick, it deploys very well. And yeah, the lockup's great. It's very nicely balanced. It's very ergonomic in the hand. You have some jimping in the frame and also on the blade. It's not very aggressive, but it will lock your thumb in a little bit. So not perfect jimping, but you know, you could still put this in a tactical role. It's a very nice knife. I don't know if you would, but it's very nice. It's a fancy knife for under $300. So competitively, let's see. $240, 3.75 inch blade. You have 4.2 ounces. What else could you get? Well, if you pay more, about $260, or maybe less if you look around, you can get a 0561056 from Zero Tolerance. Different kind of knife, you know. You got titanium handles, G10, other side. LMAX steel, so definitely the S35VN should be better. But yeah, different price range, and the blade length might be very similar, but when you look at it, this thing is more of a bulky knife, more of a, maybe you would say, tougher use knife. But yeah, it's a little different. Similar in size and design, maybe a Boker Quaken. This one is carbon fiber with VG10 steel. These go for about, let's see, these go for about $140, and they're about 4.45 ounces, so about the same weight, a little bit heavier. Of course, it's a different design, flipper design. They do have some, Quaken was originally, I believe, a thumb disc as well. But yeah, different, you know, lower quality steel. Not that VG10 is bad, but you know, this is going to be far superior. Yeah, and different manufacturer, different company. Let's see, how about an aluminum handled Code 4 by Cold Steel. This is going to go for about $76, and this is the older version, but the only difference is that they now have CTS SHP steel. It's going to be about 4.15 ounces, so very similar to the weight of the Stedemon Shy. And it's a little bit different. You have the triad lock, which is very strong. You don't have all the different handle colors. You just have the gray, but the handle wears very well, and you can do right or left hand carry with this, which is pretty neat. The cold steel gives you 2 clips for that, but it's a different type of knife. You know, this is more functional every day. Stedemon is very expensive, out of, you know, $240 compared to a $76 knife. I mean, yeah, but you're getting different. You have all the milling. You don't have this milling. It's just plain smooth handles, and you're getting a very nice steel. So let's see. We also have, of course, the Lion Steel SR2A. Now the SR1 is a larger blade, which is going to be closer in length to the Stedemon Shy, but the SR1, the bigger version, is going to be about $200, weigh about 5.8 ounces. This version, the SR2, is going to be about $180, weigh 3.75 ounces. So it's about the same. Of course, you have Sleipner steel on the smaller version and D2 on the larger version. The larger version is about $200, and you're getting D2 steel, so you're getting what I would say is a better steel in here for probably about $40 more. This is made in Italy, of course. Now, a very popular aluminum handle knife that's going to take it for weight compared to all these is the Benchmade 940. This comes in at about $195, $200, depending on where you get it. 2.9 ounces, so not even 3 ounces. Now, there's different versions of the 940. This is just the standard aluminum version that is currently on the market with the dark green handles, neat little purple backspacer, and you have S30V steel, so not S35VN, but not too far behind, and American made. Let's see, what else do we have? Well, how about a Kershaw Blur? These come in about $60, $70, depending on where you go. Another aluminum handled, nice blue anodizing as well. But you have 14C28N steel, so not as high quality of a steel. But, you know, this is a very different type of knife when you're looking at it compared to the Shy. You know, people who buy the Shy aren't buying it for the same purposes as a Blur. I mean, I guess you could, but they are very different in both their design and probably what they're meant for. I mean, you could probably get a lot of good EDC tasks done with the Blur. It's very popular for the Kershaw. Finally, another Kershaw knife would be the Knockout. This is also a pretty light knife. This comes in at 3.8 ounces, around $72. They have a few other versions, I believe. This is the OD green handles with the black blade. Again, 14C28 steel for the steel type, and it's got that neat design where this part is steel and it is embedded into the aluminum handle, which saves on weight, and it's a neat kind of functionality because it just kind of blends in there. So you got the steel lockup, but you got the lightweight of the aluminum handle. So those are the competitive options, I guess you would say, or similar designs, or if you want aluminum handled knives. Let's just get all these out of the way real quick. But that is my review on the Stedemon Shy, available through KnifeCenter. I will put a link in the description below where you can get this. Overall, it is a neat design for a single piece aluminum handled with high quality materials, nice steel, nice attention to detail for $240, which sounds like a lot for a knife, but you know what? You're getting what you pay for, and this coming out of China is proving that Chinese produced knives can have high quality, that we don't have to think of them as really terrible put together knives that are going to break on you, that are not going to be nice, they're not going to have attention to detail. They're not going to have high quality materials. This is proving that it's possible. And it's interesting where companies like Stedemon are going to go, because they've made a few high quality knives that, you know, are expensive, but they have the materials, and comparatively to USA produced knives, they are cheaper. So that is the review. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.